Teachings from Kuthumi's Hands: What Happens After Death? Part 1. I want to say that the source for the information that I offer and disseminate does not come from the human level of existence. Humans are too deluded and ignorant to know what comes next once the brief phase of life has been completed and the physical form is left behind. What I wish to reveal comes from those who know what they are talking about, the teachers of the spiritual hierarchy. See who are the spiritual hierarchy. For planet Earth, who have guided and accelerated the evolutionary progress of humankind for millions of years. For related teachings by Master Hilarion, see publications by Marcus Books. This is what happens, and there need be no secrecy or confusion about it. I desire to dispel all of the disinformation about the process that we call death, and I hope to eliminate any fear that has come to be associated with it, because that emotional charge of fear becomes a stumbling block to a smooth transition once the consciousness leaves the physical vehicle. I also want to state unequivocally and emphatically that there is no such thing as death. It just doesn't happen, and it just isn't possible. You and I will live forever. There won't be and there can't be any dissolution of consciousness, which does not require form for its existence. Consciousness uses form for learning and experience and coming to know itself at this level of reality, but that is a transitory state in the sojourn of a soul through the fields of the Lord and this playground of a universe. The moment of so-called death is chosen by the higher self, which is the essence of the self or soul. One can't lose one's soul or send it off to some eternal damnation or the like. One is one's soul. The personality that you have come to be is a fragment or portion of the consciousness of your soul or higher self, one of hundreds or even thousands, and you are held in very high esteem by the source of your being and loved dearly. That source knows the most opportune and meaningful moment for the consciousness to be withdrawn from your body, and that is where the decision is made, with all factors being taken into consideration in its ineffable wisdom. There is the exception of suicide, but otherwise there are no accidents or blunders or mistakes on the part of the incarnate personality. The arrangements for the ending of an earthwalk are orchestrated with exquisite precision by the soul, and the intentional symbolisms involved will be forever remembered by the particular aspect of the soul undergoing the experience. I want to offer a reassurance regarding lifetimes that are disrupted by traumatic events, the seeming sudden end of a life. The higher self withdraws the consciousness from that body before there is suffering from the pain of the event, and it knows precisely when to do that. Now, at the moment of transition that we call death, there is both the withdrawing of the consciousness and the life force from the physical and the etheric bodies. The etheric body is the template for the physical one, serving as the vehicle of transfer of the life force which originates with the higher self. That life force flows through the so-called silver cord, or sutratma, and into the chakras of the etheric body, and thence is distributed by way of the life force channels that are called meridians or nadis in that etheric body. Well, at that moment, the silver cord is withdrawn from those two physical bodies, making them no longer viable, but it remains attached to the astral body, and the focus of consciousness is shifted into the astral form, which is also called the emotional body, it being the source of all emotional expression. I could digress briefly to explain that we are septenary in our beingness, and as such we have 7 bodies or energy fields comprising our individual beingness. There are 4 lower forms that are known as the physical, the etheric, the astral, and the mental, which effectively bridges the lower to the higher, and there are 3 higher energy fields that go by different names depending on the master teacher that has described them. They are not really relevant to the discussion at hand. Within the astral body, then, the transitioning person has the general experiences that follow. They briefly view their physical body now departed and are entirely unattached to it. It served its purpose and has no more attraction for them. There is an inner beckoning toward what appears to be a tunnel, which is usually created by those who are coming to greet the newly passed individual, and which symbolically represents the moving up through the heavier layers of reality near to the dense physical level, third density. Other symbolic representations can be used depending on the expectations of the person, for example the river Styx, a bridge, clouds, the pearly gates, etc. The brilliant white light toward which they are drawn at the end of the tunnel is the higher self or soul of that person. There is a merging with that essence of their being and an experience of coming home and being made whole once again. They are immersed in a feeling of total acceptance and unconditional love, and it can best be described as an ecstatically joyful experience. Many think that they are in the presence of God, but they are not. Their source self has welcomed them back with open arms, but it is a temporary merging, though an intense and gratifying one. After that, an angelic being, who specializes in such, asks a question which is intended to discover what you have learned in the lifetime and to promote reflection on all those you may have helped, the basic purpose of an earth incarnation. At that moment, there is a review of the entire past life, which seems to stretch on for a long time but which actually amounts to a flash of no time. The higher self supervises all that is seen and remembered, and every scene, encounter, and event holds purpose in the pattern of development of that individual. The angel guides the understanding as the life review is presented, and there is a direct knowingness by the one who has just passed on. When the review is completed, those friends and family who had preceded the person and who are still on the astral planes come to greet and have a reunion. This can also be a joyful occasion, and beloved pets in their astral form may be seen, as may some associates and friends from other lifetimes. They may not necessarily appear the same age as when last seen, but may look younger and more vibrant, as the astral substance conforms instantly to the suggestions and desires of the mind. After meeting with all who have come to welcome the astral traveler, that individual is taken by his or her guides to the astral level that is most commensurate and compatible with their vibrational rate of being, which is synonymous with their level of awareness and development of consciousness. It is nearly an automatic process of like attracting like when they are drawn to the certain astral plane where they belong for the time being. This is when they enter schools and training programs to work out the lopsided tendencies and imbalances ingrained in the personality from the most recent incarnation. Habits and inappropriate attitudes and addictions and extensive misconceptions from the erroneous teachings by humans must be eliminated. This all takes as long as it takes, although to be honest there is no passage of time where this is occurring. There are plenty of teachers and all levels of schools imaginable. The main point to be understood is that all that is incompatible in the personality with higher consciousness and the highly refined energies of the soul must be worked through and worked out before the permanent merging with the soul can be accomplished. It can be no other way, and it is no other way. Are you in need of the healing energies of the Ascended Master Kuthumi? Visit KuthumiHands.com.